jump into the housing market update.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. So here I am, of course, Rachel Brantingham, and I'm here with your weekly Hardin local housing and economic update for Elizabethtown in Hardin County. Of course, I just want to mention that all the information I bring to you is from the heart of Kentucky MLS. It's for the week of May 5th through the May 12th. I do touch on a 30-day market analysis. And of course, if you want to visit hardinlocal.com, Phil has done an incredible job of putting together stats and everything so you can actually start to see the trends of what the market is doing. So make sure to click on housing market update on the hardinlocal.com website. This week's data continues to reinforce something we've been discussing for several weeks now. While the market has stabilized from rapid acceleration we saw earlier this spring, underlying demand remains remarkably resilient. So we had 34 new listings that came on the market this week. We had 25 homes that went under contract and 21 families moved into their new houses. Pending activity rebounded following last week's Derby-related slowdown. I mentioned that when big events happen in the state, obviously, there's usually a bit of a market slowdown that occurs just because everybody's attention is elsewhere. But what we saw this week is it came back just like we expected. That, of course, it was tied to more regional seasonality rather than deterioration of the market. Closings also remained healthy. Transactions are already in motion, are continuing through the pipeline consistently. Average days on the market of the last 30 days declined again. This one is a huge one for us because what we look at is, how long it takes from the day the house goes on the market and the sign goes in the yard until the day it actually closes. And this is trending down. To give you kind of a frame of reference, we were at about 100 days on market back in January. We are now down to 74. This amazing graph that Phil created for us, right at about 97 days on market. We're all the way down to 74 days on market, guys. What that is telling us is that the market is increasing in speed. Things are selling fast. It's a look at the consecutive weeks. This is why spring is notoriously known as the hottest sales season of the year. Buyers are adapting to current interest rates. Confidence is stabilizing and well-positioned inventory continues to be absorbed efficiently. We currently have 371 active homes on the market. Okay. So if you are going to look at a home, you have 371 homes that are available to be viewed in Hardin County. Of course, that's across all price points. Here in a minute, I break down those homes into certain categories. We had 112 homes that sold over the last 30 days. That puts us at 3.3 months of inventory. 3.3 is a very aggressive seller's market. Anything over a 5 is considered a buyer's market. We are heavily leaning towards a seller's market, okay? So it doesn't let you sellers off the hook. You still have to do the work to make sure your properties show really, really well, curb appeal, the whole 9 yards. Go ahead and have it staged. Go ahead and have it deep cleaned. Do the work because we are still seeing homes sit on the market for extensive amounts of time. And then those price reductions start occurring. So if you want the most important moment of a home's selling at its highest peak value is within the first 20 days on market. The national statistic is that within 20 days, every current buyer looking for a property today has already seen your home. Now, at that point, after those 20 days, now you're waiting on new buyers to enter the market, and they're going to look at days on market. So make sure your home is properly prepared to hit the market right up front. Average list price is $360,122. Average sold price, $325,590, is actually consistently decreasing. Okay, so things are selling pretty close to value in comparison to what we've seen back, say, in January when we started measuring this. The median home price in Hardin County is $310,000. Okay, interest rates. Just wanted to touch on these briefly. Mortgage rates remain relatively stable. So we're in the high 5 range for FHA, VA, and USDA. We're in the very low 6s for conventional. I have seen people get a high 5 in conventional, but a healthy market, these are about what rates should be. And historically, that's actually well below what they have been historically. My dad likes to bring up all the time that one of his first developments that he ever developed was at a 16% interest rate. So I know that's fun to hear, and it's easy for us to say when you're locked in at a 2 or a 3. However, the 5 range is really a healthy market condition. Of course, you want to talk to your potential seller about something like a rate buy down. Motto Mortgage is offering an excellent one if you want to go over to their page and check it out. But asking a seller to buy down your rate for a consecutive amount of time is certainly an option, especially with the homes that have been sitting longer on the market. To break the market down a little bit, I wanted to kind of show you. So if you're searching under 250,000, so if you're going to go out and look at houses today, there are currently 88 active homes for you to search through with an average days on market of about 66. So the days on market is important here because if you're searching under 250,000, that is the fastest moving market in the area. So you're going to need to have your ducks in a row, have your pre-approval letter. And if you find the house, act quickly, move with your realtor with speed. You want to go ahead and place that offer and get it accepted as fast as possible, because that's certainly the fastest moving market that we have here in the area. 250 to 400, you've got a lot to look at. 181 homes. Keeping in mind that 310,000 is the average sale price in Hardin County. So there's a lot of active homes in this category. 74 days on market. It's still pretty hot, guys. That isn't a market that is sitting dead. So if you're looking in that category as well, you might keep those two things in mind. Above 400,000, this also includes the luxury homes that we referenced next, but above 400,000, there are 107 homes with about 82 days on market. That number is really not that high in consideration. So it takes about 30 to 45 days to close on a home. My team negotiates on our buyers' behalf delayed closings all the time. So that category is still moving relatively quickly. Luxury. So this is 800,000 and above. There are only 13 homes in Hardin County that fall into this category. Understandably, because there's just fewer buyers that are able to purchase at that number, days on market is a little bit higher there. So if you are getting ready to list your home in that luxury division, just know it might take you a little bit longer. And of course, your property is going to get it scrutinized at a much higher level. So curb appeal and current condition and having it marketed correctly, those are all super essential to the sale process. Of course, I wanted to reference that the Ford Motor Company project in Glendale has brought in a ton of new contractors. So I've been speaking to a lot of the property owners here in Hardin County. We're starting to see those contractors come back to the area and need housing. So that's great. For our local economy. It's a lot of money pouring back into the area. So we're, of course, out of 400 plus units, I think my team has less than 5 available as of this morning. So housing pressure, demand for both long-term and short-term housing stays are elevated. Housing pressure often shows up in the rental market first. It's one of the clearest local economic indicators we're currently watching. Okay. Just to kind of give you this week's market call, the Hardin County housing market continues to stabilize at a healthy level, supported by resilient buyer demand, constrained inventory, and grower consumer adaptation to current interest rates. The local economy activity tied to Glendale and the Ford plant continues to place upward pressure on housing demands across the region. So for sellers, here's what you need to know. Well-positioned homes continue to perform strongly, particularly under 400,000, but buyers are increasingly selective, which makes pricing, strategy, and presentation more important than ever. For buyers, the market has become more strategic and more predictable. Competition still exists in lower price points, but opportunities are emerging on homes with longer days on market, particularly in higher price ranges where competition is less intense. At the end of the day, guys, all of this information that I share with you, I want you to keep in mind, it's all Hardin County wide. It's not specific to your subdivision or your home. So if you want a report on numbers based on what your specific property would look like and how it would perform, feel free to call my number. My team and I would love to support you. At the end of the day, housing markets are driven less by headlines and more by local economic behavior. And I just want to reference, I attended a training last week on Wednesday, and they talked a lot about national statistics. And I am very proud to say that our market's performance in comparison to a lot of the rest of the U.S. is dramatically different. Okay. Our housing market, which usually drives economies, is very stimulated in comparison to what we're seeing across the US. So I know Phil and I had talked a little bit about bringing maybe more of that information back to you all. So we're going to do some work to have that available to you guys, probably on the Hardin local website. Hardin County continues to show signs of fundamentally healthy market with long-term demand drivers still very much in place. As always, if you want a hyper local breakdown for your situation, please reach out. Thank you guys for tuning in.